We have quite a lot going on the homestead this weekend. Right now, Robert and Malachi went to the neighbor's house. They took my truck and they are picking up hay. We're finally going to get some hay, and the main purpose of that is just going to be for bedding. I don't know if you call it bedding, carbon, I guess you would call it, for the pig pen. One side is completely dry and one side is completely not dry. So the wet side needs some carbon. It's pretty funky. And while they're down there, I am going to try and get the area where we need to put it, all the extras at least. I'm trying to get it ready. My cart's a little wonky. A tree branch fell on it, so it is very weird feeling. This is my first time actually using my garden cart since the accident. Over there, right next to our chicken coop, our property came with basically just, it's kind of a lean-to structure. It's not really a lean-to. It's just a structure. We figured they probably used to put hay in it. I think they had goats over there when the people lived there before us. And it's not in the best shape. I certainly would not want to trust anyone's life to it. But it's held up for a year and a half. Hopefully it'll continue and we can store our hay in there. And just kind of have easy access to it, keep it dry. But we want to keep the ground dry, so pallets.
I can go further.
No.
Why?
You can't. There's a bunch of stuff back there. You're gonna pop the dude's tires.
Oh.
Maybe. We might be able to. Right now, we might be able to get it in there.
You could angle it better.
Gotta angle it better now.
But don't go in too far. It's currently super duper cold outside, but I am assured, based on the weather app on my phone, that it is supposed to warm up quite significantly. It's supposed to get up to 50 degrees today. So I'm super pumped. We should be able to finally cover however much of the garden we can cover with the 10 by 100 sheet that my son went to the store the other day and got for me. So fingers crossed, because right now there ain't nothing gonna get me outside. I am finally ready to start covering up all of my mistakes in the garden last year. All it takes is a big old piece of black plastic and a weed whacker. So last time my son went into our big city, he went to Lowe's, picked up this giant roll of black plastic for me. It is 10 by 100 feet and it's 6 mil black plastic. Yes, you can get like the fancy silage tarps that are like the white on one side, black on the other. I'm sure it's thicker than this, but I'm not looking to spend that much money. In order to get one that is this size, that's like an actual silage tarp, you're looking at like 200, 250 bucks. This was 70. So I'm just hoping this will last me a few seasons, and I'll just make sure to take good care of it, try not to get it ripped or punctured or anything like that. And I would say I'm not going to leave it out in the sun, but that's the purpose of it, is to leave it out in the sun. So, and it will likely be rotated around through the whole garden throughout the whole season, so we'll see how it goes. But I won't let it sit out there to rot. Let's do this. And if you're using the silage tarp, from my understanding and experience, it is better to go ahead and weed whack it first, just to get all of... It's hard to explain why it works better, but I've done it both ways, and it definitely gets a better result in the end if you go ahead and weed whack it or mow it down as short as you can get it, but leaving behind the stuff. Okay, let's see where 100 feet gets us. It's a lot longer than I expected. I don't know why I measured this. I know exactly, I knew. Last year I knew exactly how long this thing was. But whatever. So I got this whole stretch, and then I moved it over and then put it all the way down the house. I got it covered up as best as I could with what I have at this moment. I got some tires, I got some 2x6, some really long 2x6s. I think these things should probably be enough to get through until I can find some other stuff laying around the homestead. I do know that we have some more like tire sidewalls. We also have some tires without the sidewalls, but hopefully this will be good for now. If not, then I'll just come out here and fix it later on. So we're on to fix the next problem that I created for myself last year. We're gonna try and germinate some of the seeds that I think I left in the greenhouse on a sweltering hot summer day. So we need to do a germination test. For those of you who've been following me for a while, you already know this. For those of you who are just finding me, last year I had intended to have the most massive garden ever. It was just this big grand scheme, and I got in my own way, and it did not end up going well. So I've been spending the last week or so trying to redeem the garden because it's just that time of year. And one of those things I have to do is germination test my seeds. Reason being is that I left at least 3 of these bags. I have them all kind of separated. You know, I was doing my whole gardening thing and I had them all planned out. Each one of these was going to be a tray, right? I had it all planned out, but I got through like several of them, and then I ended up getting squirreled, ran off, and forgot about them, okay? And one of the afternoons that I wasn't home, the greenhouse door ended up getting shut because I didn't physically prop it open. It's a very janky greenhouse. You saw it. The door ended up getting shut, and it overheated in there massively. We're talking, it was probably like 120 degrees. Normally it might have been fine, but I had some trays that had just sown, the ones of these that I had sown and brought in the house, but I also left the ones that had not been sown out there. So they got massively overheated. I'm pretty confident they're probably dead, but at any rate, I don't know which of these 7 bags I left out there. So we need to germination test all of these, and also maybe it wasn't as bad as I thought. Maybe they didn't get overheated and destroyed, but we're gonna find out. I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna do that. All you need for this, all you need to do this is whatever seeds that you want to try out, a Sharpie, some Ziploc bags. Just get the, you know, if you have some generic crappy cheap ones, use those. A bowl of water, or you can use a spray bottle, totally fine, and some paper towels. So all of these ones I want to test, but I don't need to test every single seed that is in here. The okra, yeah, I'll test all 3 of these because there's only 3, but like the zinnias, there's a lot in here. This one is the most of my herbs in there, and there's a lot in here. You know, there's the lettuce and the basil and stuff. Is this all basil? The basil, there's a bunch of different basils in here. I don't need to test every single seed. That would just be a massive waste. I just want to get an idea of if I can figure out which baggie has been ruined, then I'll test those ones. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna keep each one separate. 2, 3. I'm thinking I'm gonna test 3 types from each of these bags. I don't want to waste a whole ton of Ziploc bags, but I want to make sure I'm not just, like, I can't just test one. Like, what if that one seed pack just sucks? And then I end up, you know, ruining the whole thing. So we're going to get this guy wet. So we're going to go with, we'll go in order. 1, queen lime. Want to make sure you're keeping the water separate from all of your seeds, because you don't want to accidentally start germinating them. And, oh, this method, I'm just using this method from a video that I saw on Gardener Scott's channel. I'll link it for you guys down below. I am certainly no expert in any of these matters, so I went to the internet to look around. His video seemed like the easiest one, where I did not have to go out and buy anything, which is always a plus. Ooh, no. I don't have very many of those. Let me look through here and find the 3 that I have the most seeds for. Oh yeah, plenty of those. These are too old to be a viable test. Plenty in there. And no. We'll try those 3. We're just making this up as we go. So then, you just take, I don't know, like that many. It's probably like 10 or 15 seeds. Spread it out. Make sure it's kind of all over. And there we go. You got all the seeds in there. It's got the moisture it needs, and there you go. A lot of people in the videos that I did look up had suggested putting it like inside of the baggies. However, Gardener Scott made a good point that you have to like open it and disturb it to be able to check it. And if you put it in the Ziploc like this, then you can just look at it and you can see. And his trick to making sure that they stay nice and moist, putting it upside down. Because then gravity, it does what it needs to do. So, yeah. 1 of 21. Also, make sure you put the date on there. That definitely did not take quite as long as I thought it would. Got them all finished over here, all 21 of them. And I kind of just picked the varieties that I had the most quantity of. If they do require light to germinate, he said to put them up obviously like this so that they can have light. The lettuce does need light to germinate, so those ones I'm gonna leave face up. But the rest of them, I'm just gonna put them face down. I'll probably clear out a little bit of a space on top of my fridge and just kind of let them be nice and toasty up there. If these don't germinate within 2 weeks, I think I'm definitely confident that I need to order new seeds. If not for the fact that each of these envelopes contains most of the varieties that I have of that particular type of seed, I probably wouldn't bother with this. But since that is the case, and I want to make sure that I have zinnias, I want to make sure that I have all these melons and daisies and flowers and stuff like that, I'm doing this germination test ahead of time to give myself enough time to be able to order them before I need to plant them. This also works if you have really old seeds and you're not too sure if they're going to germinate. You can do a germination test. For me personally, I've never found a reason to want to do germination tests on my seeds. I just plant them and pray. I plant them and see what grows. If they don't grow, then they don't grow. Make sure that you guys are staying tuned to future vlogs. We'll be sure to check on these throughout. And we're just kind of following along the garden season as much as I'm able to do. I'll let you guys in on. If you want to see what we did last time, make sure you click this video right here and you can get caught up on all the fun. Peace out, sauerkraut.